Well, hey, Midland Christian, this is Dr. Anderson. Really glad to be able to sit down today with longtime friend, Mr. Jeff Walling. Jeff and I have known each other for many years. We've worked on several youth initiatives together.
Wow,
and,
yeah.
We've had a few mountaintop moments together and a
my
few
goodness.
valley moments together, but God's been faithful through it all.
Absolutely. It is great to sit across the table from you, Greg. And I got to say, the whole, head of school thing, it works for you. It works.
I appreciate that very much. Well, it's a privilege to serve in this space. We're surrounded by a lot of amazing people, great students, great faculty, great staff.
Well, they're blessed. They're blessed to have you.
I appreciate that.
Did I say that like you told me to say it?
That worked out pretty well, good. I think. Yeah, so thank you very much. Hey, you knocked it out of the park in chapel this morning. Thank you for
Dude,
time to come and share a message.
Chapel was so sweet.
Yes.
These students, and okay, I'm just going to say this. I speak at a lot of schools and do a lot of chapels. Midland Christians' attention, respect, connect ratio, very high. So moms and dads, well done out there. Because they were tuned in, they listened, they were engaged, and then came up even afterwards and said nice things. Yeah. So just be warmed and filled, Mom and Dad. You're raising some great students and made a good choice on where to put them in school.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. Well, hey, while you were on campus, I just wanted us to take a couple of minutes and just chat a little bit. I would love for our parents at Midland Christian School to know a little bit more about Pepperdine University. So what's happening at Pepperdine these days? What can you tell us about Pepperdine as an opportunity possibly for next steps?
You betcha. For those of you who don't know, Pepperdine University is in Malibu, California, which, yes, that's where Barbie lives. But back in 1937, a young man from Kansas started a little company called Western Auto. I imagine some of my wrinkled homies out there know what Western Auto is. Made millions and millions, but that Christian young man came to California and decided to start a school, and we live in that legacy. Pepperdine University is a Christian university designed to raise up students with purpose, service, and leadership. Those are three key words, Dr. Anderson, that we repeat over and over again. We have a generation that is so used to having all the information in the world.
Right.
And so, there was a day when going to college meant you would learn from people that knew stuff you didn't know. And in many ways, today's students have access. I mean, they can listen to any professor they want to right online, right? They can get all the information they need. And so Pepperdine is a school that has really tried to step into the space that says, there's some things they need to learn in the traditional sense. But really, Pepperdine is here to teach your kids to think critically and to think with a Christian worldview, to ask themselves when they see a piece of news or when they see a story, where is God in this? And how do I need to be responding as a moral person? So that's why whenever we say purpose, service, and leadership, the word purpose comes first. We got about 4,000 undergraduate students that come from all across the country and all across the world. As I told your students, we have about 13,000 applications for about 900 freshman spots. So that means for the mom and dad sitting out there that your kid is going to be in a classroom where there aren't any students that are, quote, not wanting to be there or can't handle it. As I say, and that rising tide lifts all the boats.
Right.
And I hope that you get a chance to have your kid, if they go to college, attend a college that will challenge them. If it's easy, that makes me nervous. I love it when I hear our Pepperdine students, they come over to our house on Tuesday nights for a dinner and Bible study. And we'll have 20 or 30 of them, and I'll ask them, how's it going? Well, it's going great. I say, are your classes tough? Oh, yeah. And anytime I hear it, no, they're pretty easy, I'm like, whoa, okay. Tell me some professors' names because I want to talk to them. Right. So teaching them critical thinking skills, teaching them to think from a Christian vantage point. But Greg, I do want to make clear that not every student that goes to Pepperdine University is a Christian. And for that reason, it's a bit of a mission field. Last Wednesday night, I was at the president's house when we had baptisms at the Brock House. And there were 10 students and 1 alumni who were baptized into Christ just on that one evening. So keep us in your prayers. Pepperdine has fantastic overseas programs, amazing ones. You've heard about the Chateau, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Crazy thing. The Swiss government and a family there ended up selling the university a beautiful chateau where even as we speak, there are Pepperdine students who are learning French and are traveling in Europe. So, sorry, you asked me to talk about Pepperdine, and you just pulled a string on the old Chatty Cathy, or Chatty Cathy dollar.
Yes. Well, I just, of course, I am a Pepperdine alum.
You, sir, are.
Completed my doctoral work there.
How was your experience,
it was incredible.
Dr. Anderson?
It was incredible. Yeah, I was on the West LA campus. However, made multiple trips up to the Malibu campus while I was there. Made amazing friendships, and I would not be in the role that I'm in right now had it not been for my Pepperdine experience, and so I owe a lot to Pepperdine University. And I'm glad that you're here. I know that if folks obviously have additional questions, they're of course welcome to reach out to any of the recruiters.
Absolutely.
The website is beautiful and it's very informative, and so I appreciate you sharing some thoughts about Pepperdine.
Well, and I'll let you know, for the first time, we have one of our recruiters living right here in Texas.
All right.
Down in Austin, Sophie Eglight. So if you, mom and dads, if you have questions about Pepperdine University, if you want information, you can actually just call the admissions office and ask for Sophie, and they'll probably put you through to Austin.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Well, and I know a lot of our families right now are interested in undergraduate studies. However, Pepperdine offers multiple grad programs.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the law school is one of the tops in the nation, right?
It is. So, our law school is highly rated. Law school, School of Business, School of Education and Psychology, and School of Public Policy.
Yeah.
So we're trying to raise students with purpose and service, but we want to prepare them to be leaders.
Yeah, well, that's really, again, thank you for sharing the information. One of the things that's really important to us, our purpose for existing, is to be a school that lives for God.
Amen.
And loves like Jesus, and then we want our students to learn for life. And I know that as you think about all three of those characteristics of why we exist as a school, obviously we live in challenging times, and so many are not predisposed in our world to live for God or love like Jesus or learn for life. And so I'm curious, as you see students coming onto Pepperdine's campus, maybe as freshmen, or I know that you're also involved in an initiative called Crossways, and so you're interacting with a lot of high school students as well. What are some of the biggest pressures that you see, some of the biggest questions that are being asked? I'm just going to pitch that out there and let you respond to that for a few minutes.
That's a really good question, Greg. I mentioned to the students, and this is true in our college level as well, that we have the most anxious generation since we've been trying to keep records of anxiety. And that's students at Pepperdine. These are bright, gifted students who come, many of them from really, really wonderful homes, and yet there is and dare I reach over for this little tool, there is a tool for anxiety that has been wed to the hands of this generation. And so, comparison, the challenges of how in the world can I keep up? Greg, when you and I were in school, the worst thing somebody might do is to write something nasty about you on the bathroom wall, right?
Yeah, right.
And oh my goodness, I can't believe, that happened. But here, they write it on the world's wall. And so students who are on Facebook, Twitter, are so anxious about not saying something. I don't know whether you guys have the fizz here.
I'm familiar with that.
Fizz, I kind of hate to bring it up, but I want parents to know about it. Fizz is a new platform, relatively new, that is local. So there's a Pepperdine Fizz, and there may be a Midland Christian School Fizz that you don't know about. And it is one where students interact anonymously. They interact immediately. And so a student can be in the middle of a assembly they don't like, and they can go onto Fizz and say, man, this speaker is awful, or this, or I'm frustrated with this. And only their buddies, all their students are seeing this, and it's coming up. I simply want parents, and I'm praying for you, parents. Raised 3 great boys, and we've got 4 grandkids. But I didn't have to face with them what you guys do. And learning to help your students moderate their anxiety by lowering in every sense, and I mean physically lowering this thing so that, this just help them. Help them to get over the anxiety of leaving their phone in the other room.
Right.
I mean, that sounds so lame, Greg, but I'm telling you, we will teach our students. In fact, we've talked about doing some things at our Bible study where we just have a basket by the door where everybody drops their phone in it. Not simply because, hey, we want you to pay attention, but we want them to learn it's okay. I can live without my baby for just a little bit without checking on it. And a place like Pepperdine, we monitor it. We engage in social media. Moms and dads, please don't say, well, I'm never going to look at that, because you need to be aware. But helping students to know that there are good places and good things to find in social media and avoid the comparison game. We talked to the students today. Fix your eyes not on what is seen, Paul said, but on what is unseen.
Yes.
And you guys may have these students for a few hours each day, which is a blessing. Y'all have them 24/7 in many ways. So thank you, moms and dads, for loving your kids and pointing them towards Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're certainly addressing as best we can some of the challenges, particularly related to phone use and social media use. Really cool initiative that our parents have started here is a little thing called Our Job First.
Ooh,
so
tell me about
dads,
this.
Well, it's a pretty cool phenomenon. We have a parent advisory council, and basically just through prayer and conversation, it's like, hey, it's not really the school's responsibility. We play a part, but it's mom and dad that drive the train. So we're really excited to see how that's going to unfold, and I'll look forward to some follow up with you on that later when we have a little bit more water under the bridge. I'm curious. You mentioned your grandparent. We are now in that camp as well, of course. And as you think about, you're on stages all over the world, and you're sharing the good news of Jesus all over the world. What's some counsel that you would give to moms and dads, 2024 now, almost 2025, when they're navigating this thing called raising children in the world that we're in these days?
Well, thank you for the question. And I love, say it again, our job first.
Our job first. Yeah.
Our job first. And I'll add, it is your job first, and it is your priority job.
Absolutely.
These students will have lots of teachers. They'll have lots of professors, but they only get one, mom and dad. So I pray for you about that. The first thing I'd say today to this generation of parents is take the stress level down. Even the things I'm talking about being welded here. Mom and dad, if there's a word to pray, it is peace. You be that unperturbed, unrattled presence. There's all these voices screaming about this, that, and the other. You get to be chill. Yeah, that's my word. You be chill parents. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're not going to get your dander up. You remember John Rosemond?
John Rosemond.
John Rosemond. Okay, a writer about parenting, and I still love some of his stuff. And he would sometimes talk about, don't go to DEFCON 3. Don't go to just you don't have to.
Yes.
And don't react right now, because I love his line. He said, "You know where those kids live.
Right.
There'll be opportunity for you to straighten this out.
Yes.
But in the moment, just stay in chill."
Yeah.
The second thing that I would say to parents today is hold their hand. Now, the danger is we want to hold their hand, all the way out the door to high school and college. You can't do that.
Right.
The autonomy jump goes, okay, you can pick which vegetable you want. Okay, you can now pick what shoes you want to wear. Okay, now you can ask, can I go, to so-and-so's house? And then they go to college and boom, they're off the charts, right? I mean, we have Pepperdine students that come And mom and dad don't know that last weekend they went to Mexico. They just drove down. Right. I'm not trying to scare anybody because it can happen in Oklahoma or in Texas. Sure. They can say, "Hey, there's a concert, that's going on in New Orleans. Right. Let's go." Right. And so mom and dad, you hold their hands first and foremost and pray with them. Hold their hands and pray with them. If you teach them that God is always there, He's always with you, and you hold their hands and pray with them. I do listen to and believe the folks from our sociology and kinesiology department that says it makes a difference. Give me your hand, Greg. It makes a difference when I'm talking to you if I'm holding your hand.
Absolutely, yeah.
And when we, dealing with our kids as they grew, when they would come home from college, they knew when we did this, I wasn't asking for the keys and I wasn't asking for money.
Right.
It was to hold their hand because I wanted to say something important, and often they'd assume we're going to pray together, which 9 times out of 10, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So lower the stress, hold their hand, and then hold your tongue. Our students today expect to have input. They're not going to watch. They want to interact, which is why gaming is off the charts. It's a way of interacting. I want to be able to impact and change my environment. And the most powerful thing that I believe as a parent we need to do is to hold my tongue long enough to say, tell me what you think about this. In fact, tell me more. Here's a little one if you've got kids in junior high and high school. When you get in the car, especially if you're going to drive for more than a few minutes, ask them to pick a song and put it on. And then to tell you why they like it. If students feel like that mom and dad are willing to listen, they will be more likely to listen when you say, can I say something about that? Can I ask a question? Can I put something in there? Boy, I got to say this carefully, Greg. I had a great dad, great mom. But my dad was short on listen. He was from a generation that just said, hey, that's the way it's going to be.
Right.
Born in Big Spring, Texas, interestingly enough.
Yes.
And today's kids are raised in a world in which there's just a greater expectation that they will have engagement. So being able to listen and giving them opportunities to serve, wow, that was a long answer. But
no, it's
things.
Fantastic. I appreciate the feedback very much. We're incredibly blessed here at Midland Christian. We have phenomenal parent involvement.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about our students transitioning. Many of them will go to public universities, and that's great. God's going to use them in that space to do some amazing things.
Absolutely.
But I'm also hopeful that many of our students will choose Christian education, higher ed, because I personally have experienced the value of it. I know you get to see it every day. There's probably hundreds of stories that you could share. But
and I'll say this, that having them at Midland Christian is a huge step forward because the voices that are closest to them are Christian voices.
Yes.
But having them at a place when they hit college where the voices close to them are Christian voices, where the voices close to them are saying things from the standpoint of a believer, that's huge.
Yes.
Because mom and dad, you won't be there. Right?
Yeah.
We know that you remember dropping off kids, right?
Right.
And driving away and saying, okay. And so you want those voices around them to be speaking from a God-centered position. And I praise God that that's what happens to them at Pepperdine.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, thank you very, very much for being on campus with us. Thank you for your time in this conversation. I love you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thanks. Friends, we appreciate so much you taking time to tune into our podcast. It's been a blessing to spend this time with Jeff Walling, and I hope you have an incredible day. Let's pony up.
Go Mustangs.